Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, as the 10th chapter was pretty much the genealogy of the sons of Noah. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, which would have been the holy language, right? Or as we call today, Hebrew, because that was the original language that, people spoke. Hence, even the name of the Lord that they called upon was in Hebrew. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Because remember, having landed, Noah's Ark, Mount Ararat map. Here we go. So if they landed somewhere around here, they're now, venturing out, right? And so from here, you had some that went west, you had some that went east, right? You had some that went directly south, right, into the Mesopotamia, and then some that went all the way out and ventured all the way out here. But in any case, as it says, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, Mesopotamia, and they dwelt there. So a bulk, if not all, were dwelling in Mesopotamia at the beginning. And they said one to another, "Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly." Go to meaning like, all right, like, come on, let's, go to is just a old way of saying like, let me see. Come, there you go. That's a better one. Come, let us make bricks. So let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And this would be like the building blocks, and burning them would harden them like clay. And they had brick for stone, and slime, which is pitch, had they for mortar, like cement. And that would allow you to basically attach, and build. And they said, "Let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach onto heaven. And let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the whole face of the earth." So they basically had it in their mind to join together and build a super tall tower that would go up to heaven, and that would basically make their name everlasting, right, in the earth. Like they would be known for that as a people. As it says, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So this would sort of unite them. Now, when you also read in the book of Josephus, there are some details in there about how when they did this, a part of the reason was that, one, they wanted to avoid a situation like if the earth was to be flooded again, if they built a tower strong enough and high enough, they could escape that and they wouldn't have to suffer that again. And also in there, he also mentions that this was led by Nimrod, who also wanted revenge. Wanted revenge against the Most High for having destroyed their ancestors or their forefathers in the flood. But in any case, as we're reading here, they built this tower, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, so they have united. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do." So if this is the path or the course they've already set on, then they're gonna stop at nothing, right? Whatever it is that they've united to do, they're gonna go ahead to do. And more than likely, this is gonna lead to more mischief. "Go to, let us go down." So these are the angels now, right? And it's similar to how you had a council in the heavens concerning Ahab's death. So here it was decided, all right, the solution would be go there and go and confuse their languages, go mix it up, or their language. So "Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." Because remember, they were one at one point. They all came from 3 sons of the same father, so they all spoke the same language. Now, here, what the Lord did was he ended up creating different languages or even dialects, right? To where it was by group, and that's why in the previous chapter it mentioned how there were divisions by language and family and nation. And obviously the Lord, would have done this in a calculated way, which is why people of a particular nation speak a certain language, right? It would make more sense for, let's say, Canaanites to have a certain language, and then those of the Medes to have a certain language, versus a quarter of Canaanites and a quarter of Medes speak the same thing, but another half of Canaanites and another half of the Medes speak a different thing. That wouldn't really make sense. It would be hard for them to be grouped up by family as well that way. So chances are, when the language was confounded, and they started to speak different languages, those of the same stock would speak the same language. As it says, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord Yahweh scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. So this once again happened over a period of time, as they realized that in the confusion of the language, where they all spoke different languages and they couldn't understand, not everybody couldn't understand each other. Eventually they started to separate, and then they started to venture out more and more and more. And then obviously the city, they left off, as it says, to build it. And then that's where you have the different people going and inhabiting different areas and calling it after their names and so on. But the place where this happened was what became known as Babel, or Babylon, which means confusion. Therefore that's why if they say somebody is babbling, in fact, let's actually type that in here. Babbling. Whoa, probably terrible spelling of that. Not bullying. Babbling. Ah, there we go. Right. The act of or fact of talking rapidly and continuously in a foolish, excited, or incomprehensible way. Okay. So when you go back to the word Babel, where is it at? And you look at the definition of it, it's going to tell you that it's like confusion, or at least a synonym for it. Yeah, confusion by mixing. All right. So where we at with it? Verse 10. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 35 years, and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 34 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And here we go with the father of who later became known as Abraham, but his original name was Abram, which in the Hebrew is Abaram, meaning exalted father, or father exalted, and his brother Nahor and Haran. So you had Nahor, who was named after his grandfather. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran begat Lot. So Lot was Abram's nephew. And Haran died before his father in Terah, or his father Terah, in the land of his nativity, so where they were born, in Ur of the Chaldees, which is over there in Mesopotamia. Ur. I believe it was also one of the major cities at the time. Major older cities. So maybe this is good. Maybe this is alright. Let's zoom in a little bit. There you go. So you have Ur over there. And what this means is that Haran died before his father died. So he died young, you could say. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah. And I believe Sarai in the Hebrew was Sarayah. Let's see here, or Shara. Okay, here they have it as Sharayah, from the root word Shara, which is princess. Yeah, I believe it's originally princess. Yeah, and then you have Shar, which is prince. And now let me see here. Was Sarai's name changed? Yes, it was. Let's see what chapter that was in. Does it tell us? Genesis 17. Okay. Yep. So when we get there, we'll get into that. But I believe her name went from princess to my princess. So from Shara to Sharayah, which would be the my princess part. So here they have Sarai as a Sharayah, but I believe it might be really might just be Shara. Anyway, no need to dwell on that. So Abram takes his wife Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran. So Nahor basically took to wife his niece, right, his brother's daughter, which is Milcah. The daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah. So there you go. And the father of Iscah. So this was, yeah. So Lot's sister being Milcah and his other brother Iscah here. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, his grandson, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. So they came to a place called Haran, which is over here. So as they were making their way to the land of Canaan, which I guess maybe this was at this point in time likely inhabited by Canaanites as well. So they dwelt basically over here from Ur. They made their way over here. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. And that brings us to the end of the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.